Alright, everybody, go ahead and sit on down and take your seats and... Shut up. Alright, put your phones away. Welcome, everyone, to film class, lesson number 1. And in this little segment here, this is where I take a movie that, if I was a teacher or professor in a film class, I would show this movie and tell all the snot-nosed little kids, like, yo, this is a movie you need to watch if you want to make film, because this movie's freaking 12 out of 10, super amazing, and it's just like, this is something you should aim for when you make film, like, basically the lesson here is you watch this movie, and this is like, it should inspire you, it should hit you right there in like your soul, it should be like, this is a great goddamn film, and you should aim to make something like this. Lesson number 1. Leon the Professional came out in 1994. I'll be completely honest, one of my favorite movies of all time. I take my hat off. The director and writer is Luc Besson or Luc Besson. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. Pretty sure he's French. So there might be like some accent there. You might know him. He did obviously Leon the Professional. Valerian, the Planet of 1,000 Cities or something like that. It's that alien movie with Dane DeHaan and Christ, what's her name? It's lady, what's your name? Valerian. In the City of 1,000 Planets. That's right. That's the name of the movie with Dane DeHaan and what the hell is your name, lady? She was in Suicide Squad. Cara Delevingne? Delevingne. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce her last name there. Alright, so he did those movies. He also did this movie called Nikita, which I have not seen, but I've been meaning to. I'm pretty sure. It looks really good. I am sure that I've been meaning to see it. But I was going to say there's an actress in it who's actually not in it, so I don't want to be a liar. And he has 2 movies coming out. One's called Dogman, and the other one's called June and John. I didn't really look them up, but, that's pretty cool, because, again, I really enjoy this guy's movies. The cinematographer was a guy named, I'm assuming it's pronounced Terry Arbogast. But he's worked with Luke basically on all his movies, and did Nikita, Fifth Element, Valerian, did all of them. However, funny thing though, when I was doing research about this movie, I discovered that Terry here is the director of photography for the fucking Catwoman movie. So, don't judge a guy, but damn! So, Leon the Professional stars, I'm assuming it's pronounced Jean Reno. He plays Leon. Gary Oldman obviously is playing Norman Stansfield, and then you got Natalie Portman playing Matilda. Now, the plot of the movie is 12-year-old Matilda is reluctantly taken in by Leon, a professional assassin, after her family is murdered. An unusual relationship forms as she becomes his protege and learns the assassin's trade. So basically what happens is a corrupt DEA agent and like all his cronies bust into Matilda's house, kill her entire family, and she goes over to her neighbor, who happens to be Leon, and moves in with him, and he trains her how to take down the DEA agents that killed it, the head DEA agent obviously being Gary Oldman. And the movie is just fucking great. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty about why I love this goddamn movie. So, the movie starts off with like Leon doing like some assassin shit, which is really, really cool. It's very artsy and very stylish. I just want to say that right out the back. This movie is very artsy and very stylish. It's very clean, very slick. Oops, I hit my pop filter. And it's got a lot of like character and soul to the movie. Like, I don't know, like I can feel the world that I'm watching when I get into this movie. Like, it's its own little fantasy kind of world. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but like this movie and the characters in the setting is different than another movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool. Like, all the characters blend together. The world's cool. The cinematography's great. Writing, directing, all of it's great. Fucking perfect down to the last inch. And the story, of course, starts off with Leon. You see he's a very, very, very professional assassin. Very clean. Very, simple-minded. Actually, I'm going to be reading some trivia here actually soon, but Leon's a very simple man. Like, he has the bare necessities. He does this, he does that, and that's it. He only does like 5 things in his life, and that is it. But he is living next to Natalie Portman's character, and then the movie then starts where you see Natalie Portman obviously has an unhappy family. Her mom, dad suck. Her sister sucks. The only one that she loves is her little brother. But of course, her dad is like a scumbag, and he's getting bad with the DEA. So then, next few scenes is basically Gary Oldman busting into her dad's place with all his goonies, going complete apeshit, and just blasting people away with shotguns, and like everyone's dying, everyone's getting fucking blasted. The little brother's running, gets shot with an Uzi, and it's just mayhem. And Natalie Portman's character, Matilda, shows up, kind of towards the end, sees everyone's fucking dead, and then goes over to Leon's apartment, knocks on the door, acting like she lives there, and of course he lets her in because she's a little kid. And then the whole movie then is him trying to be a good like guardian for her, but then she's also very dead set on this revenge thing. And then the whole movie kind of keeps going about them building this relationship, this and that, and developing themselves as characters, because now Leon's stepping outside of his comfort zone. He's, becoming a guardian. He has to care for like another person, where before he literally only cared about himself. And now Matilda's finally having family or someone in her life that actually cares about her. So there's a cool little bond going on there, while at the same time the DEA is like going nuts. Because basically Gary Oldman in this movie is going like insane because he has to take these medications that keep him from being fucking insane. But whenever he takes them, it's like a piece of trivia that I guess it like causes him pain to take this medication. So Leon's training her, blah blah blah, and it's like this nice little story of him and her bonding and becoming close and doing all this stuff. And then she eventually tries to go and kill the DA on her own, which of course fucks up. So then Leon shows up, has to get her out of there, but then unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that leads the DA back to him. So then Leon, being the most coolest badass ever, basically sets up an entire plan to just annihilate any motherfucker who comes after him. And the ending of this movie is so cool because you have the beginning, which has a little bit of action, some story. Then you have the big action scene where Gary Oldman and his goons are killing the family, but it's very quick. Then you go on to, the bonding scenes and the rest of the story where it's actually kind of like a comedy, drama kind of thing going on there. And then the ending is by far one of the most, no pun intended, explosive action sequences I've ever seen. Because it's just Jean Reno as Leon just killing every single person that comes near him. It's all these cops and all these SWAT members, big machine guns, and Jean Reno just blasts them all away. He kills them. He has like knives. He's killing them. He's going in walls. He's doing all this stuff. He's up in the ceiling. He's killing all this stuff. He's like closing doors. He's using guys as meat shields. All these guys are getting blasted. Everyone's getting fucking blasted. Everyone's dying. And Leon's just like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. He's covered in blood. And so fucking cool. Now, if you have not seen this movie, I guess I should have set this up earlier at the beginning of class, but I am going to tell you spoilers. So at the end of the movie, Leon has killed all these SWAT members, and he's killed all these cops, and he's killed all these like people coming after him and Matilda. Finally, he kills one of them and takes like their like clothing, like their SWAT armor, and he exits the building. And everyone's like, oh yeah, get out of here. You got all this smoke and blood in your face. Get the hell out of here. Because they think he's a cop because he's got the SWAT mask on. So, and one of like the most kind of like beautiful endings, Leon is walking out to go meet up with Matilda. And it's from but then you see Stansfield come up from behind him. And it goes like first person, like POV from Leon. And you see him walking out to like the light, like back onto the street where Matilda's going to be. Basically like he's now leaving it all behind. He's going to continue. But then the light flashes, and that's signaling that Stansfield has now shot him, like in the back. Leon falls to the ground. Stansfield's like, ba 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 ba, I got you, motherfucker, ha 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 ha. Gets on top of him, but then Leon's like saying something. So Stansfield leans in, he's like, what are you saying? And he reveals that he's holding one of those like grenade rings that you pull. Stansfield opens up Leon's jacket, and all these grenades, and I think he just says, oh. Cuts outside, you see Matilda standing there, and this huge fucking explosion happens. And that's the end of the main character and the main villain. But then Matilda goes to the handler that like gives Leon jobs. Basically tells this guy, no matter what you're gonna do, I am going to become an assassin. I'm gonna become like Leon. And of course the guy's like, well, that's not what Leon wanted for you. He left you all this money and all this stuff. Like, I'll hold on to it for you when you're a little bit older, but if you really want to go down this path, I guess I can help you. And basically, she, like, goes down this path of that she's going to become an assassin. At least I'm pretty sure that's right. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I might be confused, but the guy was very hesitant at first to be like, don't you want to do something with your life? Like, that's what Leon did. He threw away his life to become an assassin. She's like, no, mother effer, this is what I want to do. And it's fucking good. I've watched this movie so many times, and honestly, it is one of the most, hands down, 10 out of 10 movies. There's not a single part of that movie that I'm like, man, I kind of wish this was a little bit better, this, and this. However, when I get to the trivia, I'm going to tell you some stuff, and this movie was almost not very good. So with that being said, we will now move on to the trivia. Alright. First piece. According to John Reno, he decided to play Leon as if he were a little mentally slow and emotionally repressed. He felt that this would make audiences relax and realize that he wasn't someone who would take advantage of a vulnerable young girl, Matilda. Reno claims that for Leon, the possibility of physical relationship with Matilda is not even conceivable. And as such, during the scenes when such a relationship is discussed, Reno very much allowed Portman to be emotionally in control of the scenes. I think that's really cool. Because, unfortunately, this movie does have... Because there's one point where Natalie Portman's character is basically saying that her and Leon are lovers, and they get kicked out of a apartment that they're staying in because everyone's like, what the fuck do you mean you're lovers? You're like 13. That guy's like 30. So it's really cool to see like one of the actors being like, well, I'm going to portray him as like something like that, so that way the audiences can really see that there's nothing here. There's no subtext. I really like that. I like the fact that when I watch this movie, I'm like, okay, cool. There's nothing going on here. Like, Matilda has fallen in love with him, obviously, but he's not about it. And I think that's really cool. This movie is actually Natalie Portman's motion picture debut. She was 11 years old when she was cast, and I read that she beat out about 2,000 other actresses. I think one of them was Liv Tyler, who was 15, so she was too old, and Christina Ricci was on that list, and some other names. It has been... Alright, here we go. Here's a big juicy one that I didn't know this one. It has been claimed that Luc Besson, the writer, has written the script for a sequel, which Olivier Megaton, that looks like Megatron, but it's without the R, so Megaton, was to direct, in which Natalie Portman would reprise the Matilda role. Filming was to be delayed until Portman was a bit older, obviously. However, in the meantime, Besson left Gaumont Film Company to start his own movie studio. Oh, that's cool. Europa Corps. Unhappy with Besson's departure, Gaumont Film Company has held Leon the professional rights close to the vest and will not budge. According to Megaton, the sequel will more than likely never happen. However, Besson used the idea for this movie called Columbiana in 2011. That came out in 2011. And I actually wanted to watch that movie, and I did not know that this was like a pseudo, like someone took the idea of Leon the Professional sequel and made a different movie with it, with the idea. And I gotta hunt down this movie and watch it because I was not aware of that. The film became influential and would influence future action movies. You goddamn right it did. That came out years after its release, such as Kiss of the Dragon, 2001, The Transporter, Unleashed, 2005. I'm pretty sure Unleashed is the movie of Jet Li, and I fucking love that movie. Hitman in 2007, The Assassin Next Door, 2009, and of course, Columbiana, 2011. That's awesome that Unleashed obviously took influence for this, because I love that movie Unleashed. A little fun fact, Robert De Niro was considered for the role of Leon. I'm really happy it did not go to him, because I think John Reno is perfect. Absolutely perfect in this movie. And he's so cool. He has so much style in this movie. And again, this is one of those reasons why I love this movie, because this movie has so much... It has so much style and like art to it, because obviously this is a French director. So I'm not trying to say anything, but there's a little bit more art and a little bit more flair to this movie than I would say personally in like other normal action movies, if you know what I'm saying. Like, that's one of the things I really enjoy about watching foreign filmmakers make movies, because they have a different visual, they have a different, like, the way that they see things is different, the way that they think action should work is different, the way that they write characters is different, the way they write anything is different than how like an American would write it. And I think that's really fucking cool. So it's the same reason why I think that most action films that aren't American are actually a lot better because, let's be honest, most American action filmmakers kind of fall in the same rut of doing the same shit over and over and over and over again, and they get too flashy with cameras or whatever like this. But there's a few action movies out there where I'm like, I don't care what anyone makes. This will probably go down in the list of one of the best action movies ever made, and it's made by like people in Taiwan, or Thailand. I can't remember which one it is, but it's I'll get to that much later in class. Let's move on. Okay, now here's the thing. Earlier I said John Reno plays this character a little mentally slow because he wants to put audiences at ease, I should say. And there's one part where Matilda does claim that her and Leon are lovers. Obviously, she has a giant crush on the man who saved her. However, the original version of this movie included sex scenes between these two characters. It included a much more heavy, these two actually do become lovers. Like, there actually is like a full-blown scene where they just straight up have sex, and Leon has all these emotions of like, she's a child or whatever, but she's so beautiful and I love her so much that, I'm conflicted, but at the same time, she's just so beautiful and I love her so much. So they actually do become lovers. I am so 5,000,000% happy that they cut all that out because that would not make a very good movie. I do not want to see a 30-year-old assassin baning like a 12-year-old, Like, I don't want to see that movie ever. And this movie, I think, is really better about her, finding a more positive relationship, not just like a sexual relationship, but a more of a guardian relationship, Now let's move on. In a 2014 Playboy interview, Gary Oldman said his screaming of the now iconic line, "Bring me everyone." If you've never seen this movie, if you've seen clips of it, there's a part where Gary Oldman's talking to one of his goons, and his goon goes, Who all do we need to bring? Gary Oldman whips around, looks dead at the camera, or looks dead at this guy, which is facing the camera, and just screams, "Bring me everyone." This line was actually improvised, and it was to make Luke Besson laugh. He said the line in a regular voice in the previous take, but then he cued the sound guy to slip off his headphones and shout it as loud as he could. Besson loved it and used it in the film. Oldman says that this is now the line fans quote most when they meet him. He doesn't scream, "Bring me everyone." He merely says it. Then someone says, "What do you mean, everyone?" That's when Oldman screams the single line, screams the single word, "everyone." He screams it as loud as possible. So yeah, actually I got one more piece of trivia here. The original script had a much darker ending. After Norman Stansfield shoots Leon, Matilda performs the grenade ring trick, seen in the other restored scenes of Version Integrate. I don't know what that means. And opens her jacket to reveal the live grenades it was changed by Luke. Fearing that the audience will not accept Matilda's transformation from the innocent girl to a crazed juvenile killer, Besson had later indeed said the transformation had never intended such a transformation for a kid. So at the end, Matilda was supposed to die? With everyone else? Like, they were all gonna die? Holy shit, that is much darker. Well, I'm happy they didn't go with that, because I really love the original ending. So I guess, that's almost the end of the lesson there. But, I spoiled the movie, I'll be honest. But this movie, again, I said it came out in 1994. That's 1 year after I was born. Come on, this movie is now 28 years old? Something like that. If you've never seen this, do yourself a favor and watch it. If you like Fifth Element, this is a much more serious movie. And it's much more, stripped because it's much earlier in Luke's vision. It's also not sci-fi. But this movie is so perfect. It's great. I love it from head to toe. I love the acting. I love the characters. I love the setting. I love the music. Also, at the end, they have a song by Sting that plays, and it just fits so well. It's such a good movie. I know I keep saying that. It's such a good movie. I love it so much, but it's because it is. Excuse me. But there's just so much to it, but not a whole lot. Because, yeah, there's crazy action scenes, but there is a long period in the movie where there's not that much action. And I really like action movies that do this because it makes it more than just action. You have, a huge chunk of just story. There's, there's conflict and there's interest and there's, ups and downs and but there's character bonding and character building, this, and this. And then finally at the end, like I said, the ending of that movie is so fucking gnarly. It's like all the action scenes of like Point Break put together. Like it's just Leon just blasting all these dudes. It's very much like, Matrix-esque. Like the first one, everyone's just getting killed and like going apeshit. So I highly recommend this movie. If you are someone who loves films and movies and all that stuff, I recommend it. If you're someone who wants to make films and stuff, I recommend this because, again, it's very stripped down. It's very toned down. Like, compared to big, giant sci-fi movies or any, like, giant action movies, this movie's has some action here, has some story, has a little bit of action here, has a lot of story, and then a big action sequence. It's very cool, and it's very tamed in a weird way. It's tamed when it's always meant to be, till the moments where it's just unhinged and it's awesome. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, if you're into watching films, if you're into making films, if you're just into watching something new, and again, it's an older movie, 1994, but I mean, damn, a lot of movies that were great were made a long time ago. Not like a long time ago, but you know what I mean. Before the year 2000. But damn, that's a good movie. So that's the lesson. If you want to learn cinematography, editing, writing, directing, acting, anything like that, or just how to make a solid film, I recommend Leon the Professional, 1994. Well, that's the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed this part, and stay tuned for more lessons about more movies that I would show, students in a film class. Thanks for listening.